Welcome to Metal Minutia, episode 7. How you doing, Phil?
7 deadly sins, 7 ways to win.
Had to be done, I suppose.
Hello there. Yeah, 7's a great number, episode 7. I'm feeling really good about it so far.
Yeah?
Yeah. We're 30 seconds in and...
You're already pumped.
Absolutely flying.
It's actually... It's a killer day. I don't want to talk about weather, but it is a cracking day. And a dangerous day to be a beer, I reckon.
Yeah. If I was a beer, I'd be very frightened that my time was up.
Yeah. I'm going to do some damage to some today. But we're not here to talk about some sort of binge drinking. We're here to talk about heavy metal. Indeed we are. Metal Minutia.
Yeah.
Which is the name of the game. What's been happening in heavy metal in your world?
This week and last week, I've been listening to the debut album of Megadeth, Killing Is My Business, ... and Business Is Good. I revisit Megadeth every few years, and I think this is the beginning of my revisiting of Megadeth. It's just like it randomly popped up while seen it somewhere, and it's jogged the memory, and I'm like, it's time just to get back into it just for a minute.
How when you revisit Megadeth, how where's your start and end? Well, obviously, Killing Is My Business is a start point.
Yeah,
you're not going to go earlier than that. But where's the end point?
Generally, it's Cryptic Writings ish.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
97 ish. Every once in a while, every 10 years maybe. No, I mean I have listened to Risk.
Yep.
And I've probably visited it since my first dalliance with Megadeth. But generally, I stop at Cryptic Writings.
Yep. I think that's sensible.
Yeah, that's reasonable, right?
Yeah, no one's going to judge you for not listening to The World Needs a Hero.
Yeah, no one's ever been mad at me for not knowing the second song off of whatever it might be. Dystopia, maybe? I think that might be one in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I feel like it.
Yeah. Killing Is My Business. Yeah, of the...
Good album, actually.
Great album, man. It's so much fun. It's wild. It's unhinged. It's insane.
Like, Looking Down the Cross is a really good track.
That is the track.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the track. Yeah. Huge fan of it. I think of the big four, or if you want to call them that, it's hard to pick a favorite debut of them. But the Megadeth one is without question like the most ridiculous. Like it's insane. Like it just doesn't sound like it should function. Like there's riffs all over the joint. It feels like they're about to fall off. Feel like everything's about to fall apart at any second, and it just keeps on. It just keeps on plowing through. And a couple of absolute all-time Megadeth favorites on there. Looking Down the Cross being one.
Yep.
And The Chosen Ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a banger of a track.
I was sure you were going to say Mechanics.
Yeah. You were wrong.
Yeah, I'm wrong sometimes.
You were wrong. Sometimes? You were wrong sometimes. From time to time.
Yeah.
But I'll stop there because I'll probably, we'll go on a Megadeth tangent another day, I think.
Yeah. We can probably fill an hour doing that.
Yeah, we can. And I went to see the Rush tribute gig a couple of weeks ago. Remember we spoke about that?
Yes.
At the...
Max Watts?
Max Watts. Great show. Fantastic. I'm so glad I went. They played for 3 hours.
Wow.
And I was only briefly saddened at a time for the fact that I never saw the real deal. That thought only crossed my mind like once, and I thought, I don't know what feelings I was going to have when I was watching the gig, but that only briefly crossed my mind. And the rest of the time, I was just so happy to be in a room full of people who were digging this music being performed. Like,
were they a 3-piece?
Four piece. Yeah,
that's sensible.
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because they should have been they could have been a 2-piece, and then like just everyone takes on an extra instrument and a half. I think that would have been cool. But no, you're right.
Yeah, I think 4 to 5 people would have been.
Yeah. Dream Theater, like maybe just the lineup of Dream Theater should have done it. No, you're right. A lineup of 4 to 5 people is probably that's probably like the normal human capacity to play what the original Rush played.
Geddy Lee does too much on stage.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Like that's
you
don't need to play keyboard and bass and sing.
Yeah, that's wild. And I think he even does too much on his individual instruments. Yeah. Like there's a subcategory of doing too much. Like. That's one thing actually that come to mind when I was watching the band was that her voice. Oh, she was incredible, like the singer. She sang for 3 hours and didn't didn't drop a note. Like, she was handing out the microphone to the crowd every now and then, but it was not because she couldn't do it. It was, it was a let's get involved type thing. But I did notice, and this is not a crack at her, but like her bottom range was a bit thin, like she didn't have like the bellowing, but that made me realise how versatile Geddy Lee is a singer.
Yeah.
Like, it just reminded me, it just made me think, wow, there's things about Geddy Lee's voice that I didn't really take into account because I'm just so used to that's all I wanted to hear when I was a kid. But
and there's so much other things going on in Rush as well, so you're probably the low end of the vocals is
not really a massive
probably
the least of my worries, the least of my concern,
often.
Oh man, but it was a lot of fun, and I think everyone in the room felt the same way. It was really cool.
Nice, very good.
Mood Lifters, they're called. I should probably just say that the actual band themselves, they're called Mood Lifters, and they're from California. So more power to them. And
good stuff.
Rad. What's going on your side of town? Talk to me, Ray.
So actually, a couple of new releases that I've been listening to. 40 Watt Sun, which is probably metal adjacent more than metal itself. So a new album was yesterday.
Yeah. It's called Yesterday?
No, it came out yesterday.
Oh, in time. Yesterday in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
The 6th of September.
Right. Roger that.
But it's called Little Wait.
Yep.
And I mean, sort of metal adjacent, really, more than metal. Patrick Walker, it's his band. He was the main guy in Warning.
Oh yeah.
So for if anyone's been stuck with me after midnight and I've had control of the music, you've probably had to listen to Warning, watching from a distance, live Roadburn 2019 at obnoxiously loud volumes.
Yeah.
But when I'm not listening to that, I 40 Watt Sun. It's basically the same thing.
I don't always listen to Warning 2019 live at Roadburn, but when I do... Sorry, go on.
But 40 Watt Sun's kind of basically the same sort of music, but not heaps heavy. It's like more... Not acoustic, but it's very stripped back. And that's why I say metal adjacent more than metal.
Okay.
But very cool. And
does this 40 Watt Sun have many releases?
This is their 4th album.
Okay, so it's its own entity.
Yeah.
Well and truly. Yeah, cool.
I was enjoying that a lot yesterday. And what's the other? Oh, Time 2 by Wintersun came out a few days ago.
Oh, yeah. Which
I've sort of, I've been listening to it a little bit. It's a lot in it to kind of consume, I suppose.
Yeah.
Hasn't totally grabbed me yet, but I'm sure it might at some point.
Bit dense?
Yeah. I mean, do you listen to much Wintersun?
No, I don't. I listened to them for that time for about 70 minutes when I saw them live. And that was the only time I listened to them.
Yeah.
And no, I haven't listened to them much. And it's not because I didn't dig it when I have heard them, but didn't grab me.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's kind of just, it's almost like what you were saying about Falconer the other week about, it's sort of, it's not quite power metal. Well, or not just power metal or whatever.
But power metal's a bit reductive. Yeah. But they do more things.
Yeah. But like if you had the singer from Rhapsody on there, it would be a power metal album.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But just another thing that's come out, and it just has a lot of sweeping guitars. Which is fun to listen to sometimes.
Yeah. If you're in the mood.
Yeah. I think in the mood is the. I haven't yet been in the mood.
Okay. Yeah.
But
that's a thing. I think when you're when a band releases something and you think, I'm not in the mood for that band right now, but I know I'm going to like this in the future.
Yeah. Actually, that's one thing. Like, with Iron Maiden playing tonight, I've been whatever the
Senjutsu,
yeah. When that album came out, I wasn't ready for an Iron Maiden album, and I didn't really listen to it.
Yeah,
but I've been smashing that actually this week in the lead up.
Yeah,
and actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like the last 20 years of Iron Maiden.
That's fine.
Yep,
that's fine.
Yep. But exactly that. Like you're not always in that mood for when a band happens to be releasing, which is quite unfortunate, really.
How long ago do you think that album came out, Senjutsu?
That was 2021.
Yeah, I thought it was earlier this year. Like, time is so ridiculous. Like, I was just like, this came out earlier this year, didn't it? It was 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I finally got around to it.
Yeah, and it's been 8 years since they've been here.
Yes, Yes.
Anyways, more on that later.
More on that later. But yeah, I saw Bulletbelt from New Zealand.
Oh, cool.
They were in town.
They're great fun.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Thursday before last. Yeah, so it's good to catch them.
Yeah.
And yeah, actually gave their new album a bit of a spin as well.
Oh, cool.
They've had a few lineup changes since last time I saw them. I don't think they've been in Australia for a while.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, triple Jackson attack on stage.
Yeah. Shit. How we're talking.
When have you ever seen that? Since like, I don't know,
1989.
Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah, their new album. They've gone to a bit more of a heavy metal space, power metal space than than the sort of black and thrash before. But
yeah. Wow. Okay. So interesting.
Yeah, I guess it has been it's talking about time. I don't know. It might have actually been 8 years since I've seen them live. Yeah. Since I last in Australia, but
yeah. I actually think it was 2015, 2016. That wasn't going to be a guess in the back of my mind, but I wasn't gonna take the pun until you just said that. So I think it might be.
Because it was on that Midnight tour.
That's it. That was definitely it. Yes, yeah. That's 2015. 2015. Just looking at my producer.
Yeah.
No, we're getting shrugs from the producer.
Yeah.
Never mind. Get back to that.
Otherwise, there's been a bit of news around announcements of gigs. Melbourne Death Fest has been announced. The lineup for that has been announced, which is going to take place March 9th at the Corner.
Yeah.
March 9th. I feel like that's going to be a long weekend.
It is. Yeah, it will be.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that Labor Day weekend in Victoria.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But we've got Left to Die. Are you on?
I'm not au fait with it, but I know vaguely what's going on. I know that's members of 80s Death or...
Yeah, we've got Rick Ross.
Yeah, right.
Terry Butler.
Yeah, wow.
And then Gus Rios and Matt Harvey, both from Gruesome.
Wow.
So that's Gus is the drummer and Matt being guitar and vocals.
Yeah.
And they're playing, I believe, Leprosy and Scream Bloody Gore tracks.
Wow. Cool. I am in. That sounds exciting.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. They're headlining. We've also got Pestilential Shadows, Gutless, Werewolves, Faceless Burial, Midnight Odyssey, Pizza Death, and probably like 4 or 5 more.
Yeah, there's a bit going on there. That's great. That's excellent.
It's 2-stage setup, so it's going to be...
Yeah, 2-stage setup at the Corner. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so that should be really good.
That's that Melbourne Death Fest has gone up a notch every year in venue and in lineup and in quality, I think. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, your mate Booking's knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, nice one.
And yeah, in just a few weeks, we've got Emu, 26th of September.
Got the date, do you, Ray?
Yeah, I got the date.
How professional of you.
Yeah. It was hinted at last episode that Emu might be playing.
Got to keep him guessing, you know?
Don't want to give away too much.
No.
So that's at Shotkickers. That's the Thursday night, but the next day is a public holiday.
Yep.
And with Fly, Smoke Witch, and The Myths.
Yeah, cool. I'm pumped for that. That's going to be a good show.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to that and then head down to up to Canberra for Essence the next day.
That's a great weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one.
Looking forward to it. And then we've got Tarot coming to town.
Yes.
Early December 6th.
Oh, I'm so excited for this, Tarot, because they were in town a few months ago supporting Sirith Ungol at the Corner Hotel. But and they did a great set. It was wonderful, of course, but I didn't hear enough new songs as much as I'd like from their new album, so they're coming back to do a proper album launch for said new album, which is very exciting.
Yeah, it's the kind of the unfortunate thing with the support slot in that it can't be that long a set.
Yeah.
But yeah, headlining as they are, I imagine they'll be playing a bit longer and
doing whatever the heck they want.
Yeah, I hope so.
Excellent.
That's at the Gasso, right?
It is at the Gasso.
Hopefully roof open as well for a bit of atmos.
I reckon, yeah. By
early
December, yeah, it should be nice.
Yeah.
That'd be hopefully a balmy early summer's evening. Yeah, awesome.
I'll call it best gig on that day. Good Things Festival can go to hell.
Come on. Love it.
All right.
Rad.
Shall we get into the main event of the episode?
Yes, we shall. I just got one quick shout out from I got a lot of cool feedback from our last episode, and I've gotten a lot of cool suggestions and recommendation. So it's been really exciting. We really appreciate that. Just one special shout out to Ian Belshaw for one of the instances of band mentioning their own name.
Oh, good.
In the song, one of my favourites that I missed, which is Scorpions' Love Drive, the title track. I'd like to show you what Scorpions got a sting.
Nice.
Yeah! Which is a great one. So, yeah. Cheers.
Yeah. Then there's such niche things to happen. It's...
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to be able to put it out to the, to the ether and people come back. Because as I said, that's a difficult thing to look up. It's a difficult thing to search.
Do you feel
Let's do it.
Let's go on a tangent.
Let's do it.
So that's like obviously top tier name dropping of yourself, self-referential name dropping.
Yeah.
How do you feel about when the album name, not on a title track, gets dropped in?
I love that.
Yeah.
I really love that, but I think that's I believe that's reverse engineering. I think they name the album after a lyric. I reckon that's what that happens.
Yeah.
I believe.
So you think it's obviously it's less impressive, but you still get excited about it?
I do get excited about it. I quite love it, actually. I reckon it's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because I'm as equally impressed that whoever it may be has taken the right phrase out of a lyric, even though it might not be relevant to or wasn't strong enough to be the title of the song or whatever.
Yeah.
They've taken something, relevant and powerful from the lyrics and made it the title.
Yeah.
I think that's equally as a cool move.
All right. So today we are talking about under the radar albums. They're not going to be albums that no one knows, but maybe the albums that people don't talk about as much from, because they're all quite big bands we're talking about. They don't get the kudos that they perhaps should.
Yeah. And I think under the radar is probably a good way to describe it, because they're not necessarily underrated as such, because that can be a loaded word, and like you just said, Ray, they're pretty big bands we're talking about, but they just happen to be albums that are favourites of ours, but when in conversation with either good friends or passers-by, it's not really, it's like, oh, yeah, that album's okay kind of thing. It's like, hang on, that should be, I feel like these albums should be a bit more. Yeah. Well, that's how I'm looking at this.
Yeah. And I've done a little bit of statistical work.
As is your want.
As is my want.
Excellent.
Because I wanted to... I mean, there's all these things like, our impression is that these albums are underrated or, underappreciated. So I wanted to see if it played out in the...
It might not be the case.
Yeah.
Our version of reality might not be the...
Yeah, exactly. Our internal biases.
Turns out AC/DC's Back in Black is actually
pretty good.
People are actually into it.
Man. Yeah. Who knew?
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah. Awesome.
Anyway, really underground band. I've got Black Sabbath's Dehumanizer. Have you heard of it?
Who are you speaking of? The Black Sabbaths, you say?
The Black Sabbaths. Yeah.
Cool.
So Dehumanizer, I feel people talk about Black Sabbath, they tend to start with Ozzy, of course.
And you should, and that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not. And the secondary thing they're going to talk about is probably the Dio era. And of the Dio era, they're going to talk about Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules.
Yep.
Probably, people, the Tony Martin fans and that sort of thing will crucify me for not picking Headless Cross or something.
Mm-hmm. Let them crucify.
Yeah.
We'd like to hear from you.
We would always like. But yeah, I feel like Dehumanizer, that's the 92 album. Dio came back after whatever that was, about 8 years or so. No, actually probably 10 years.
More closer to 10, yeah.
He comes back with Vinny Appice as well on drums. You got Geezer and Tony.
So that's the Mob Rules lineup.
Yes. Yeah. The Mob Rules lineup returns.
Yeah.
And creates what I think is a pretty cool album. As far as whether it is underrated or not, according to Metal Archives.
Yes.
It's actually... It's well rated.
Yeah.
So Black Sabbath average about 78%.
Yeah.
Across all their albums.
Yeah.
And
man, that's a hell of a strike rate.
Of all reviews, they get 78% on Metal Archives, and of the 20 reviews of Dehumanizer, which is a comparable number to most of their other albums, they came in at an average of 89%.
Oof, yeah.
Which you would say is quite strongly rated.
Yeah, for sure. That's,
But like, no, I don't feel like anyone I talk to.
I've literally never heard anyone name this. Oh, I hadn't heard anyone bring it up since you brought it up when we were talking about it a couple of months ago, I think. Yeah, I hadn't heard anyone talk about this in...
Well, you're all missing out.
yeah, all you people, all you folks.
Give Dehumanizer a go.
Yeah.
It's like, I would say one of my favorite drum sounds on it.
Cool, yeah.
Like Vinny Appice's performance on it is really good. Like,
it's booming. It's
like, the snare is huge. There's there's a lot of feel and...
Yeah, it's not a digital sounding album. Like, it sounds late 80s still, in a good way.
Yeah. And I'd say it's probably... I'm not going to say it's the best performance of Dio, but like Dio sounds, his voice is, angry and tough and emotive and furious.
Yeah, I think performances either side of that album for Dio, I think that's definitely a high point. Like, I think because after that, I think he goes back to like there's Strange Highways and Lock Up the Walls, which are, not outrageous affairs for Dio.
Yeah.
And I think, after the late 80s, I think it might have been Dream Evil and then they might have taken a break. I don't know, but like, it's a powerful performance from Dio. In a career of powerful performances, it is a powerful performance.
It's remarkably powerful. But it's a very heavy sounding album. It doesn't, it doesn't sound like a 1992 album. Whatever that means.
I know exactly what that means.
It's
difficult to quantify, but I do know exactly what you mean.
But Tony and Geezer.
Absolutely. Just, what do you call it when you're just rock solid? I'm searching for the word, just dependable. Just...
rock solid?
Just rock solid, yeah, goddamn, yeah. Just dependable and formidable as always. Yeah, I hadn't listened to Dehumanizer in a long time. And I've been spinning it the last couple of weeks just because I thought this might be one of your picks. And I've been really, really enjoying it. Like, I always thought it was okay, but maybe I'm probably fitting into this category of people, like of these folks who are just like, Dehumanizer. Because I suppose maybe Dehumanizer is an album you hear when you're in the fog. Like, you hear a lot of Black Sabbath albums at once. When you get into a band, you hear a lot of things at once. Like, you get greedy, rapacious. You want to
have it all.
Want to have it all. It's probably one of those albums that might come toward the back end of things.
Yeah.
And then, before you know it, you might have heard 4 Black Sabbath albums that week, and they might be this and that. And it might just get lost in the...
Yeah.
Perhaps. I'm trying to justify the...
Yeah. No, I think you're probably onto something. And if you're going to pick a Black Sabbath album with Dio, and it's a new person to Dio Sabbath, what are you going to suggest? You're going to suggest Heaven and Hell.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not. It's the third one on the list.
Proselytizing. Favorite tracks on there? Because I wanted to say that Letters from Earth is a song that just like stands out for me, and I will be revisiting it. Like, it's a great song with a cool guitar solo.
Really like Computer Gods.
Yep.
Time Machine, I think, is pretty cool.
Love Time Machine, especially because it was in Wayne's World. Yeah. So like it's just totally got that association for me. Yeah.
But I think it's pretty good top to bottom. And After All.
After All the Dead. That's another great one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just heavy, slow songs and fast songs as well. It's got a bit of variety.
It's got all the songs. Yeah. All the kinds of songs.
Yeah. But they're all, cool. I guess the difference is they're all kind of that 4 or 5 minute thing rather than feel like some Sabbath albums you get the 6 or 7 minute type ones.
Yeah.
And it maybe doesn't have that kind of grander song.
Yeah, are you saying it's missing like it's like, to be ridiculous here, it's missing like, like the War Pigs or the title track Heaven and Hell or the, or Dirty Women or perhaps it's missing that one epic song that would have been like the concert staple heretofore, and then perhaps
it could be something like that. It's sort of, they're all kind of they're all solid, but there's maybe no centerpiece song.
All the songs are just ultra mega okay.
Really quite good.
Really, really quite good. Maximum adequateness.
Yeah, I don't know, not really, because they're not samey songs. Because
that's. They're not. Yeah, they don't bleed into each other. Like,
maybe it was just like an unpopular. Like, who was listening to Black Sabbath in 1992? I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just. It went under the radar because, that's an album that would be probably when, Heaven and Hell, the band, formed. That's probably gave Dehumanizer a resurgence of sorts.
Yeah.
But it was probably not something people were visiting if they were fans of, if they were 25 in 1992, they probably weren't listening to Dehumanizer.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
But yeah, Dehumanizer. I really like it.
Dead Again by Mercyful Fate.
Would you like the stats on this one?
Yes, I would.
This is actually...
Yes, I would.
I reckon this is a fascinating one, and I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about it.
Excellent, cool. All right.
So, Mercyful Fate have a 82% average.
Awesome.
Dead Again, 76%.
Cool.
On only 5 reviews.
Right.
Which lends to the both in attention and score being under the radar, because Don't Break the Oath is 93, if I can read my own handwriting. Yeah. From 15 reviews.
Yeah.
So, a third of the reviews for Dead Again, and Melissa 91% on 21 reviews.
Yeah.
So, much lower volume and much lower score. But
okay. Yeah.
Interestingly, so Dead Again 1998 album.
Yes.
King Diamond. Voodoo 1998.
What? Yeah. What did that get?
They got 83% off 8 reviews.
Oh man.
And I would isn't it kind of fascinating that he made 2 albums?
Man, okay, so this is part of what I want to talk about about this album. Also reminds me why I don't care about what Metal Archives has to say. I love it. I'm entertained by stats. Of course we are. But, ultimately meaningless because Voodoo is just... That album is borderline unlistenable. Like, it is so boring. It is so boring. Mercyful Fate's Dead Again come out in that kind of... In that just miasma of 90s activity for King Diamond.
Yeah. It's 95, there's Spider's Lullaby, 96 is Graveyard, 98 Voodoo, and then...
And Dead Again same year. Then 99 he did the Mercyful Fate album 9.
Yeah.
And then the following year, 2000, would have been maybe House of God. So all that's happening in the span of 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
This absolutely contributes to why Dead Again is lost in the mix, and also perhaps why 90s Mercyful Fate is lost in the mix as well, because it's like in the 90s, like Star Trek in the 90s, there was 5 different Star Trek series in the 90s.
Yep.
It's oh look, another Star Trek series. Yeah. It's
how many 20 episode, 1 hour episode things can you consume in a year?
Exactly. And they wonder why the 5th series wasn't drawing great fandom. I think that's what happened with Mercyful Fate in the 90s, and it was totally it just got lost in that mix. And we can argue about the quality of these things. I don't know, because of course you can't quantify. There's no accounting for taste with these kinds of things. But for my money's worth, the Mercyful Fate stuff, they did 5 albums in the 90s, In the Shadows, Time, Into the Unknown, Dead Again, and 9. And I at least hear people talk about In the Shadows and Time. I got some mates who that's their favourites of a couple of their favourites, or among the favourites of Mercyful Fate, because as we know, Mercyful Fate did their 2 albums in the 80s that are titanic landmarks of heavy music in general. You know, so coming back from that was there was just no way that they were going to live up to it. It was just not possible. Yeah, it's just not possible. Too much time had passed. It's a different world. They're all different people. I think Mercyful Fate in the 90s is kind of its own entity. I almost wish they had a different name, because I feel like they might even have a stronger cult following if those albums had a different name. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too much, because at the end of the day, it's still King Diamond and the main man, Hank Sherman, working on these songs together, Michael Denner to an extent. Yeah, but these albums they did in the 90s, it's their own entity. It's an incredible body of work. And Dead Again is a great album. It's great. But even I admit, I get lost in the middle of it. There's some songs where it's okay, I don't know if this needed to be here. It's so I can understand. It's not flawless, but the songs on there that are amazing are they're just huge. opening track opening track Torture and the second track The Night, they're just great, dark, mystifying, heavy metal, and the only in the gothic way that Mercyful Fate can do.
Yeah.
And the title track, Dead Again, that's the name of the title track, would you believe? Dead Again.
I find that off the album Dead Again.
Yeah, off the album Dead Again. Title track's 13 minutes long, and it is such a wild ride. It is just it's so cinematic and it's a roller coaster.
13 minutes of Mercyful Fate is, that's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things, absolutely.
Is that 128 riffs?
Yeah, at least. Considering what they do in 5 minutes,
Yeah.
Oh man, and King gives one of the greatest performances of his career in that song. Like the song itself, the narrative is a story about a man caught between worlds. He's dead. He knows he's dead. Has he lived before? Is he living again? Is he going to hell? Is he in purgatory, etc.
Yep.
But he sounds like he goes mad towards the end of it. Don't want to spoil the third act of the song, but like he's got to choose the certain door, and the numbers driving him insane. Like It's so good. It's such an awesome performance.
I think it's okay to give spoilers on an album that came out 26 years ago.
Well, you know what? I mean, I saw Twin Peaks 20 years too late, and the end of that was, that was spoiled for me. So I just always think about that. I'm just thinking.
It's very considerate. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong.
All right. I feel better then.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there's a couple of absolute bangers that close the album called Fear and Crossroads, and it's just a great ride.
So how long is the album? That must be like sort of 60.
It minutes. Is, yeah. It's 55, 60 minutes long.
Yeah.
Probably their longest album, actually, come to think of it. Yeah, it is.
You reckon that's was, obviously the first couple being vinyl, and do you reckon it's a CD problem where they thought they can make, 50 to 70 minutes or what,
Yeah. 79 minutes up to and including, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they added an extra song because they could and shouldn't have?
Absolutely. And that is something that's that would have bled over from the albums that King Diamond was making at the time and in his solo project, because he knows how much room he's got to work with, and he's got to fit so much more on the album because he's got to tell the stories.
Yeah.
So he's probably more aware. It's like, hey guys, we can put 60 minutes of music on here. So we're like, we'll keep writing songs, and it's like might not necessarily have been.
Yeah. Because sometimes like 45 minutes is very
Yeah.
Or 40 minutes is enough.
More than enough. Yeah. And I totally agree with that. So definitely probably a victim of its own, the convenience of the CD, the compact disc.
Or just like guys being in a different time. Like, it's the 80s band now making 90s albums,
Yeah, huge fan.
Yep.
Loved it again. I recommend a revisit if you haven't heard it in a while. And if you haven't heard it at all, man... Woo!
What have you been doing the last 26 years?
What the heck are you doing right now?
Yeah. Listen to the end of the podcast, then put it on.
Yeah, then put it on. Yeah, please listen to the end of the episode. And skip to the title track if you like. Like, I won't be offended. I won't know that you didn't listen to the first 7 songs, but you've got to hear that title track.
Dissection. Reinkaos.
Dissection.
Yeah. So, melodic black metal band from...
Heavy.
Yeah. First 2 albums, The Somber Lane and Storm of Light's Bane, both from the early 90s, early mid-90s. 89% for Somber Lane. And
I can imagine.
90% for Storm of Light's Bane.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning albums.
Yeah.
Then John, the main man of the band, finds himself in prison after... some heinous acts.
Oh dear.
But some decade or so later, he comes out of prison and creates Reinkaos, which is more of a melodic death album than a melodic black metal album.
Yeah.
And at 24 reviews, it comes in at 71%.
Oh, okay.
Which is brings the average down for Dissection down to 82%.
Yeah. God damn.
So it really impacts their overall.
I didn't know they had a third album. No, I'm your problem right there.
Yeah, well...
This is the guy. This is the guy's the problem.
Yeah.
Well,
at least... Is
it 3 and only 3?
Yeah. And after that, he he left this world.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Reinkaos, it's so all the songs are sort of that 4-minute, 5-minute type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, melodic death metal more than black metal. Super tough.
Yeah.
Lots of stops.
Yeah.
Real tough stops.
Yeah. Sick.
And just like spitting furious vocals.
Yeah.
Like, real tough vocals.
What's the time difference? How much time elapsed between...
It's about a decade.
Storm and... Okay, decade. Sorry.
Yeah. And it's a bit different as well in that I feel like the first two albums are probably in like E or E flat. They're not down-tuned a lot, but this is, I think, getting towards B or C tuning.
Yeah.
Or maybe like, I don't think they have 7 strings. I guess they're baritones.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that. I hope this is true, by the way. I hope I haven't just made up the
Might
tuning
be all
thing.
lies.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cool album. And I know, well, I guess everyone that likes Dissection likes Stormlight's Bane.
Yeah.
Somberlane. I can understand why they wouldn't like Reinkaos because it's so different. But
yeah,
you look at it.
Well, this is why we're here. This is why we're talking about this. This is like, that's why it's under the radar, obviously, because of its difference in tone and approach. But it's the same creative force behind it with the same creative intent. Has to be considered as such, and then with the benefit of retrospect, holds up for you. Still entices you to put it on, obviously. Yeah. Would you say you listen to it as much, or? Yeah.
I would definitely listen to it as much.
Yeah.
Probably in a different, like it does give you something different.
Different setting.
Yes.
Yeah, different setting. Yeah, it's like how certain Rush albums are good on Friday night, and certain Rush albums are good on Sunday morning, and certain Rush albums are good on Wednesday Arvo, you know, and they're different periods of...
What's your Wednesday Arvo Rush?
Wednesday Arvo Rush, I'll Hold Your Fire from 87, 88.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Wednesday Arvo, because you're halfway through the week, things are looking up, you're pretty chilled out, but you're not Friday night like, what? Quite yet, Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, I'm not going to put it into...
a day of the week.
Specific hours of the week.
Between 4:30 and 5:15 on a Thursday.
Yeah, I haven't prepared for that.
Okay, all right.
So I won't say things I can't take back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, don't hazard a guess at this point.
But yeah, Reinkaos, Dissection.
Very good. Dead Again by Typo Negative.
Excellent.
Yes. Been on a bit of a Dead Again, anything called Dead Again, the movie Dead Again? No. Dead Again by Typo Negative. Yeah, so this is just obviously a classic, awesome coincidence, but it very much happens to be an under-the-radar album by a pretty huge band.
So you say that, but...
Here it is.
Typo Negative, 83% average.
Yeah.
Dead Again, on 12 reviews, 89%.
Yeah, good. See, now I'm back to being like, Metal Archives, man. That's always on the money.
They always get it right.
Yeah, they always get it right. Now I'm back.
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's good. Yeah. But of course, this is a subjective experience.
Yes.
And when I talk to folks about the Typo Negatives, Bloody Kisses, October Rust come up quite a bit, and absolutely deservedly, because they're colossal masterpieces of the 90s CD heavy metal era.
I saw a bumper sticker the other day.
Yeah.
And it was said, "Keep honking. I'm listening to Typo Negative's 1993 masterpiece."
That is so specific. Did you drive up beside it and it was just like Peter Steele?
No, I was on foot and the car was parked.
Right.
So I assume he was getting a coffee.
Yes. Yeah. Peter Steele.
Yeah.
Poor Peter Steele. Rest in peace.
Indeed.
But there's a few things I want to talk about Dead Again, Typo Negative. That was to be their final album, 2007. And talking about CD bands, like Typo Negative are the archetypal CD band, as in all their albums are pushing 70 minutes long, because it was the time when they could,
Yes.
You know, we can put we can put heaps of material on these CDs. So,
Yes.
but certainly albums like Bloody Kisses and October Rust benefited from that approach because they're long, drawn out in the best way. They're truly journeys, those albums, and they go to different places, and there's room to breathe. There's segues, you know.
Yes.
But of course, the 90s caught up with them, and there's a couple albums. I'm looking at you, World Coming Down, and what's the one after that? Life Is Killing Me. Even that one. That one's particularly a struggle for me. Like I can't get through that album most days. It's a bit tough.
You try and get through most days.
I do. Why do you think I'm listening to Turbo Negative, man?
It's like 10 a.m. I gotta get through this.
Yeah, I gotta get through this Turbo Negative. Oh man, it's already 10:15. Got shit to do, man. Oh man, no, I just Dead Again is just so much. It's like the same length as his album, which is what blows my mind. It's 70 something minutes long.
Yeah,
but the songs, they're drawn out in classic Typo fashion, but they just somehow just have more drive and focus, and like they just hit the mark somehow. It's really hard to quantify why. I don't quite understand it, but it's just something is happening on Dead Again. There's just some kind of purpose, some new purpose or something, like new vivacity, and it's just awesome. It's probably my favourite Typo Negative album. I've just realised right this second.
Just now,
just right this second. Yeah, because I usually just say Bloody Kisses off the bat just because it was my first proper Typo Negative experience.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I think I put on Dead Again more often, and when I do, like I'm smiling the whole time. You know, like it's just such a great ride. It's so powerful, and specifically, there's something about this album. The drum performance from Johnny Kelly is actually his first performance for the band. Let me explain this. I've done this ass about. After the original drummer, Sal Abrascato, I believe his name is, he left in 93, 94-ish after Bloody Kisses. The next album, October Rust, they used a drum machine. And then the next three albums, it's a drum machine on the albums.
Right. Live drummer, obviously.
Oh, yeah, but Johnny Kelly was the drummer. Yeah, so full-time drummer, and he would perform live with them. But on the album, you're just hearing a drum machine.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Sorry.
Yeah. So Johnny Kelly, even though he'd been a member of the band for 10... 12 years, hadn't actually recorded on an album.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah. It's
good
fascinating.
Bit of minutia.
Yeah, some good minutia. Some classic minutia there.
Yeah.
So I felt a bit for Johnny Kelly because, like, I really think his energy is missing from those albums as well, especially.
Did he at least get to program the drums?
I just know that, well, from what I've read anyways, who knows what happened on the spot. From what I've read, he, worked, quote unquote, worked with Peter on the drums. But if I know anything about Peter Steele, it's that he was a passionate person, but tyrannical in his vision, and bloody good on him. But yeah, he was very much in control of things. So I doubt it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, he played them live and like played the hell out of him. And he's a great drummer. I really like Johnny Kelly, and it's so good that he got to perform at least once on an album. And his performance on Dead Again is killer, and it brings the whole album to life. Like it's a whole other step. It just makes me yearn. Like I think, man, if he played on... Yeah, okay. Especially if he played on World Coming Down, I reckon that would have been wild. It kind of works... The drum machine kind of works on October Rust because there's something very 90s, like massively 90s about that album, about the goth kind of thing. Like it works, but the next two after that, I feel like something is sapped from it.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. But Dead Again, it's huge, man. The drums sound unreal. So just massive props to Johnny Kelly for that. Yeah, just the songs. Title track... Tripping a Blind Man, The Prophet of Doom, Halloween in Heaven, She Burned Me Down, an ode to locksmiths, which opens with one of my favourite lyrics, "Where the fuck are my keys?" Great album, and I want people to talk about it all the time.
Well, funny you say that, because I was actually talking to someone about it.
Awesome.
Last week or the week before, whatever.
Rad.
Yeah, so one of our listeners, he sent me a
one
message.
of our 3 listeners?
We've got more than 3. But yeah, he sent through She Burned Me Down as I guess, the payoff to the build-up
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And yeah, we so I ended up listening to the whole album a bunch of times, and yeah, we had a bit of a chat around.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, killer. That's excellent.
Yeah, he was saying, I'll be interested in your experience of it. He was saying that he struggled with it a bit when he first got the album, but like it was the thing where you bought albums and you persisted because you'd spent money on them. Yeah. And it grew on him. Did you have that experience with... Or you were hooked from the start?
Yeah, I think if I did, it was short-lived because I don't remember it. So I'm not saying I didn't, but I think I was pretty hooked right away. I think, if anything, my experience was probably because I'd gone chronologically through the catalogue, and the preceding one, you know, being Life Is Killing Me, I was probably like, man, I don't know, how good can this last album be? Yeah, okay. I'll give it a shot, you know, sort of thing. And then I'm hearing it burst out of the speakers. I'm like, whoa, man, I am on board. So maybe that was something like how it went, but I can't say it with certainty. Yeah, that's interesting.
I won't hold you to it.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
We travel back in time and find out that you did not enjoy that first listen.
That your story doesn't hold up. Yeah. There's going to be words, man.
Yeah.
And the conversation won't be about how you had a time machine. It'll be about this specific part of minutia.
We already covered the time machine.
That's a different issue, man. Don't dodge the issue.
Stay on the topic.
Stay on topic. Yeah. Typo Negative, Dead Again, my seal of approval.
Awesome. So yeah, that's the end of this one. I think this will be something this will be a part one, I imagine, of the Under the Radar. I imagine we'll have no shortage of albums that we think could be appreciated more. Yeah,
cool. I really like this topic because it definitely gives us a chance to talk about bands we love, but try to avoid things that have been over-explained, and then we get the chance to over-explain them. You know, it's that's cool.
And it's important that things are over-explained.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, we want to wring every bit of magic and spontaneity out of the whole lot.
Yeah, we want to ruin it for people. Got an album that hasn't been ruined for you yet?
Well, get ready.
These two guys.
Yeah, I'm really psyched about this, because that's cool, because this is what I'm here for. Like, I really love good bands and good albums that haven't been given their due or what have you. It's not even just about that. It's just about it's the minutia.
It's the minutia.
It's classic minutia.
Yeah. And cool. Why not get excited about listening to an album again?
Yeah. Why not?
What else are you doing?
What else are you doing today?
Yeah. Go put on one of these 4, or maybe all 4. Yeah. Have a little afternoon.
Might be a bit of a ride, actually, those 4 albums.
What order would you do it? You haven't heard Dissection?
No, I haven't.
No.
But I would wager that would be 2 or 3. I don't think you'd finish with that. Or would you?
I don't think so. I reckon... It's actually tough.
This is pretty heavy.
I'd probably start Mercyful Fate just because I don't know if I could deal with that last.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Maybe finish with Black Sabbath to be a bit more of a rousing kind of...
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So Mercyful Fate, Dissection, Typo Negative, Black Sabbath.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
Yeah. That's going to be the order of the playlist.
Yeah. Lock it in.
Yeah, nice one.
All right.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. That's the end of this.
Thanks to our live studio audience.
Yes. Yep. But yeah.
Thanks for the support, guys. Thanks for listening. We've loved your feedback, and it's cool seeing you guys in person as well. So we really appreciate it. And rock on.
Rock on.